Take a moment. Relax. Life is hard sometimes, but we can't keep working 24/7, 365. We all deserve and need a break. That's the central theme around Wanderstop, a cozy game about working at a tea shop. But that's just covering the surface. What I thought would have been a fun little tea shop sim type game actually helped me more mentally than I thought. So while I review this game for accessibility, I'll also explain everything about my experience playing this game. So grab a cup of tea and let's get started. Hi, I'm Steve Saylor. I'm blind and I play video games. If you're wondering how and also what I can see, check out the video here or in the link below. Actually, you know, this is a really cool mug that the folks at Wanderstop gave me, by the way. I unboxed it as a YouTube short, so check that out. And it came with tea. It came with its own tea. It came with tea that you make in the game. Like literally coolest PR package I've ever received. Also, thanks to the folks, of course, at Ivy Road for sending that and the code for the game. Okay, so without any spoilers, let me briefly tell you about the premise of this game. You play as Alta, a warrior fighter who has been in pursuit of being the best fighter in the world. She finds herself in this little grove in the middle of a forest where she ends up working for this dude named Boro who runs a tea shop in this grove. As you're figuring out how to make tea and serve the customers of Wanderstop, you're learning more about yourself and the importance of taking care of yourself and find your inner peace. Again, I thought this was going to be a cute, cozy tea shop sim where you come up with crazy tea concoctions, figure out the right temperatures of the water, how long to steep the tea, setting the prices of those teas, while also gardening for tea leaves and all the ingredients, which it does have to a certain extent. But it was the narrative and the overall theme of the game that made me stop and rethink of how I feel about this game. More of that in a minute, so let's talk accessibility. This game does have subtitles and you can change the font size of those subtitles. There isn't any options to adjust them other than that, but the game's design has built-in speaker tags, a dark background, and a black outline around the text for the in-game cinematics. There's the ability to use a dyslexic-friendly font, colorblind support, motion sickness center dot, dialogue speed, and remapping controls. That's pretty much it, but honestly, the game is relatively simple gameplay-wise. That to have these amount of options is impressive. There is quite a bit of accessible design that's built into the game that does help a bit. For cognitive disabled players, early in the game, you are given a field guide that, funny enough, actually Ivy Road sent me this exact field guide that you can actually be able to have in the game. In it are instructions on how to make tea, the type of plants you can make that grow, the type of hybrids you can make by planting seeds in specific patterns to grow fruit for the tea, customer requests, and more. Plus, if you're really stuck at a certain point, you do actually get access to a book called the Book of Answers that literally gives you the next step on what you need to do for your current task. The game does also go at your own pace, so there is no glitch or fast reaction times needed to play this. The closest you do get is when you are heating up the water. There is a thermometer type control where you have to keep hitting A to keep the thermometer line in a heating zone. But other than that, there are simplified controls. The game does encourage you to use your controller instead of mouse and keyboard. I try to make the mouse and keyboard work, which it sort of does. And I'd be curious actually if you use mouse and keyboard for accessibility, let me know if this works okay for you. I couldn't get it to fully work, but for whatever reason, I just basically just defaulted the controller all the time. And for deaf and hard of hearing folks, the reliance on sound is very, very minimal, but there is nothing blocking you from moving forward. It's mostly just say audio cues when your tea leaves have been finished drying. That's when you can grab a tea ball, but you can just go back into the maintenance room and see the clock above the tea leaves basket to see how long it has and when it's done. Stuff like that. The game does lack a lot of blind support, however. There's some voice dialogue but in the cinematics, but other than that, it's text-based. There is no screen reader support or navigational assistance. There is also a sort of high contrast mode actually, where it's pretty cool, where you can hit R3 and the people you need to find to talk are highlighted while the world around you the opacity is lessened. It's kind of neat, honestly. There are some audio cues that help, but you would need sighted assistance in order to be able to play this game. So yes, sadly, once again, a game not made for those closer to the sightless end of the blindness spectrum. Before I go further, I want to take a quick tea break, and while I'm doing so, hit the subscribe button so you can help keep this channel growing. There we go. Thanks. Now, normally when I am playing a game for review, to be honest, I'm often taking the first few hours playtesting what accessibility is or isn't there, and not caring about the narrative as much. I'm trying out different controls, testing the limits of some of the options. I do try to focus on narrative, but often I have to go back into the early captured recordings because I missed some key story moments. Basically, I'm in full accessibility brain mode and not, quote unquote, playing a game for fun type mode. When playing Wanderstop, however, I almost got into that same pattern, but I'm glad I caught it in time, because if I was paying attention, I would have realized I was working too hard because I had to, and not taking the time for myself and reflect on the moment. I was so wrapped up in trying to figure out how to brew tea in this mystical tea shop in the middle of the forest, I almost missed what this game was trying to tell me. It's okay to work hard for what you want in life. Having goals, tasks, and to-do lists are important to get to where you want to be in life. But if you don't take a moment now and again to just be in the moment and try to be at peace, those moments will be lost and you won't be present for you. Does taking a break and having a cup of tea solve all of life's problems? No, nor should it be. That's putting pressure on the moment itself. Everyone needs a break in their life. Burnout is happening all over this industry and beyond. I don't know, I was kind of reluctant to tell this story, but I know what burnout is like, to the point where I got into serious trouble. Without really going into all the details, I was working at a job that I literally worked for 36 days straight, no days off, literally for 16 to 18-hour days. I was, after I finally had my first day off, my body fully shut down. I was on my way to be able to go record a show with a friend, and I was standing on the subway platform and I passed out. If I fell forward, I could have fell right onto the tracks themselves, but thankfully I fell backward. When I came to, I didn't realize that I apparently had called the 911. I went to the hospital and I was diagnosed with exhaustion and dehydration. So that was the cause of burnout for me. I realized that it's okay to work hard as long as you're able to take breaks for yourself. And that's one of the things that I think that this game reminded me of. And I realized that it's okay to take a moment for yourself and just chill and just relax. We think taking a break means you're unproductive, and then you feel bad for feeling bad. But it's okay to take a moment for yourself. Remember you, reflect on life, try to just, for a moment, be still. And having a nice, soothing cup of tea is a great start, if you ask me. So if you're asking me what do I give this game score-wise for accessibility, I give Wanderstop a 3 out of 5. But beyond that, for what this game taught me to relax and enjoy a cup of tea, I give it a 5 out of 5. Oh yeah, this tea's so good. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and also hit the like button and subscribe to this channel while you're at it. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. And as always, I remain obediently yours. Bye-bye.